of our programming languages. So it can't understand Python, it can't understand C#, it can't understand C. But what we do use, our programming language, what our computer actually understands is something called executable binary, which is, here's an example, list of some strange characters which I do not understand either.
That's a common problem. That is like emoji.
But what happens is we use a programming language, and our programming language acts as a translator between our human language, that programming language, into executable binary, which allows us to execute the functions and actions we want our computer to do for us.
Cool.
So why don't we use executable binary? One is difficult to read and write. I don't know how to read or write it myself. It might be difficult depending on your OS and CPU. It might be different. So different OSs like Mac and our Windows use different executable binary codes. And CPU, so that's why you may realize that there's different, so Python has a different file for Mac OS and it has a different file for Windows OS. It's because that executable binary code is different, so they have to program Python differently to, or any of your programming languages differently to handle the different OSs and the different CPUs. Also if you have stuff like Linux and so on. So for these reasons, programmings are written in higher level programming languages like Python, we know C#, we know JavaScript. There's a whole host of programming languages that you could learn, and you could also research if you so feel. So since our computer cannot understand these programming languages, we need to download something to translate programming language into executable binary. This translator is what we need to download. So there are two types of translators, compilers and interpreters. Compilers directly translate a program from its original programming language into executable binary. But interpreters work slightly different in a more complex way. They don't translate our exact code directly into executable binary. Just to note, Python is an interpreter, not a compiler, and it does translate our program in this more complex way, which I'll not go through in this course. Okay, so that's the end of our short introduction into is to discuss what is programming and what are programming languages. We're going to learn how to use the Python shell and create source files, understand sequential execution, use arithmetic operations and variables effectively, understand what is an integer, what is a floating point, what are string types, and to read and write comments and documentation. So, what is programming? Anybody, what is programming? What is programming?
Programming is what we use to make our computer do different things.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Any other answers?
Programming is an instruction in the computer.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Anybody else? Okay. What is programming?
Writing instructions so the computer can execute.
Okay. So programming is essentially telling a digital device to do something. This can be a desktop, laptop, phone, tablet, or any machine with digital electronics. We have our cars with stereo systems, we have our fridges with the buttons, and we could tell it to shoot out some ice for us. Speakers, robots, etc. We tell the device what to do by giving it instructions to follow. For example, if you're making an app, your instructions could be like display 2 buttons on a screen, and if the user clicks on the first button, then it brings them to this other screen which displays this set of photos. So this is some basic pseudocode, or what we might want our digital device to do. And this is accomplished through a programming language or through programming. So these instructions are specified in a language called a programming language. And there are plenty of programming languages, but the main one we'll be using for this course is Python. Okay, so we're going to learn about the print function, and we're going to see how it is used. So I want everybody to type print hello world in the Python shell and press enter. And then somebody tells me what happens.
Type what? Hello world?
Print hello world. I want everybody to take note of the syntax, and I want you to type exactly what I told you to type, or what you see on the board. We're going to learn one important rule. Syntax is very important. If we don't type in exactly what we want, what the correct syntax, we will get errors. I want everybody to know computers are very dumb. They don't have any mind for their own, so they execute exactly what they're told to do. And if it's not in the library of what they know, they will give an error. And there's a popular saying that we use in programming, garbage in equals garbage out. That means if you type in garbage, you will get garbage out. So what is our output when we type in hello? What?
Well, I'm going to say syntax error.
So, he typed what I have on the board.
No.
So type what I have on the board. You have it in there. Type it again. What do you have on the board?
Microsoft.
Oh.
Okay, so everybody was able to put. And what happened?
It showed what we back in the bracket.
Okay, so the print function is used to display a message on the board. And I want you to realize that it prints out everything that we type inside of our parentheses. Our parentheses inside of our quotations. If we typed print hello world without the exclamation point, we will type exactly hello world. If we added a space or no space, it will print exactly what we typed within the quotation marks. Print hello world. Nice. Okay, so I want you to try printing out several functions about yourself, several messages about yourself. I like programming, I like basketball. And just get used to the print function. Anything interesting about yourself? I'm 16 years old. After that, I want you to try using single quotation marks instead of double quotation marks. And then tell me what happens. I want you to try using single quotation marks instead of double quotation marks when you're printing out your function. Okay, so how are we doing? Is anybody getting syntax errors? Anybody getting syntax errors? So let's go back, let's make sure we're following this format. We're using print, open brackets, open quotations, and then whatever message we want to print within those quotation marks, close quotation marks and close parentheses. That is our syntax for the print function. And we'll always be using it. Now, did anybody get to try using single quotations instead of my double quotations?
Yeah.
What happened?
It
It just did the same thing.
Yeah.
So I want you to realize you could use either single parentheses or double parentheses. It is your choice, and I would allow you to use whatever one you are more comfortable with. Okay, so now I want you to try using a single parenthesis, a single quotation mark, and a double quotation mark. And tell me what happens. Use a single quotation mark at the start, and then a double quotation mark at the end. And let me know what happens. Syntax error. Any other syntax errors? I should only get syntax errors. So you cannot use a single parenthesis and a double parenthesis. You have to choose one. So you could either use single or you could use double. And that's up to you. I normally use double. I don't know why, I just like using double. So now I want you to try printing out two messages separated by a comma in parentheses. Like print, open parentheses, open quotations, hello, close quotations, comma. Open quotation, my name is John, or whatever your name is. Close quotations, close parentheses. And let me know what message do we get, or what is printed out. I want you to be very specific.
It's like both in one.
Are you pan?
It's like both.
You type both in one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a few.
You take the double and put it go to a single parenthesis.
I can get the one.
You just disregard the word comma. No need to put the word quotation marks.
Okay, so everybody that has Python 2.7 would have got a display that shows open parentheses, single quotation, hello, and comma. Everybody that has Python 3.9 would get the sentence hello, space, my space, name, space is, space, John. I said the spaces because I wanted you to realize when we use this comma, it adds in a space between hello and my.
Yeah.
If we were to write out this sentence hello and then write out this sentence my name is John without any space or any comma, then we would have joined the two words hello and my together. So one thing that we want to note is our comma can be used as a separator, and that separator includes a space in between our two strings.
Okay.
The string of hello and the string of my name is John. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go into arithmetic operations. So I want everybody to enter each of the following lines of code into a Python shell and see what happens. 2 plus 3, 4.3 minus 6.2. Do 4.3 minus 6.3. 7 star minus 5 and 8 / 3. When we typed in 2.3, what answer do we get? I mean 2 plus 3. 5. Just 5, right? Just 5. When we entered 4.3 minus 6.3, what did we get?
1.9000000.
Okay, disregard the 4. That happened with my last class. I don't know why. Okay, so do 4.3 minus 6.3. Negative 2. Just negative 2?
Yeah.
Negative 2.0, right?
2.3.
No, if we did 4.3 minus 6.3.
You're getting 1.9, negative 1.9.
Yeah, and we get in minus
Negative
0.0.
2.0. Yeah, negative 2.0.
Okay. And then when we did 7 star minus 5.
Negative 35.
Negative 45. Just negative 35, right?
Yeah.
And when we did 8 / 3.
2.6666 and 5 after
I get 2 alone.
Okay, so our answer should look something like this. Now I want us to realize when we did 2.3, we got 2 plus 3, we got 5. When we did 4.3 minus 6.3, we got minus 2.0, not minus 2. And when we did / division, we got this long decimal point.
But I got the whole 2 alone.
So, as you can see, the Python shell gives the answer to each of these calculations, and we can note that multiplication is done by using the asterisk symbol. Division is done by using the /, and calculations can be done on whole numbers negative numbers, and decimal points. Now I want us to realize something. So 2 plus 3, these are what we call integers. Integers are whole numbers, both negative numbers, and include 0. So integers will be minus 1, minus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, to infinity, and to minus infinity. So everybody knows what an integer?
Yes.
Okay. And in Python, there's something called a floating point. Now, a floating point is any number with a decimal point. So 1.0, 2.0, 3.1, 3.2, any number with a decimal point. So when we do operations with 2 floating points, or once it has a floating point within the calculation, our answer will be given as a floating point. This is why when we did 4.3 minus 6.3, our answer wasn't minus 2, it was minus 2.0. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
But when we did 2 plus 3, 2 integers, our answer was 5, not 5.0. So if we're doing an operation with 2 integers, our answer will be an integer. If we're doing an operation with an integer and a floating point, our answer will be a floating point. If we're doing our operation with 2, 5, 6, 7 floating points, once there's a floating point involved, our answer will be a floating point. Also, but realize we did 8/3. Let's try entering 8/4 and tell me what your answer will be.
2.0.
Just
Two.
two.
Just 2.
Two again.
2.0.
Just 2?
Yeah.
Just 2.
But that's 2.0.
I get 2.0.
2.0. Most people will have gotten 2.0. That's what, because when we do division, our answer always comes out as a floating point. So 8 divided by 4, 2 integers, but our answer would have come out as 2.0. Everybody with me? Let's move forward. Okay, so in programming, positive and negative whole numbers are known as integers or ints. Numbers with decimal points are known as floating points, called floats. This is important to know since most programming languages treat them differently. So integers are treated differently than floats. They are different data type. For example, when 4.3 minus 6.3 was calculated, the answer was displayed as minus 2.0 instead of minus 2. The reason is that since floats were used in the calculation, Python will give the answer in the form of a float. So it will display the number with a decimal point. I want you to try enter the following into our Python shell. 5***2.
25.
Then 20/4, then 21/4, and 23 %4. You enter that? Yeah,
That means 5 squared.
Yes, go for it. She has
I
it.
think it
The
means
best
5
thing is if she has
squared.
that.
Yeah, I think it means 5 squared.
Okay, so what do we think 5***2 does?
Squared.
5 squared. Okay, so enter 5***3 and tell me what was the answer? Yeah, 125. So what do we think the star operation does?
Add a power.
Add a power.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5** means 5 to the power of 2. If we add 3, 5 to the power of 3. So star means to the power of. So it's basically raising our number to the power of our second digit. What was the answer for 20/4? So what does our / operation do? Divide. When we did 21/4, what was the answer do we get? What do we think / does? Because 21 divided by 4 is what?
5. 4.7
4.25, right?
Yeah. 4.7.
So why was the answer 5?
Round up, it rounded.
Okay, so it rounded off. So let's, okay, you said it rounded off. Let's try 23/4/4/4.
5.
It gave me 5, but 23 divided by 4 is 4.75, right? If we round off, wait, no, it's 5.75.
5.7.
So round off 5.75 for me. 6. So why didn't my computer tell me 5?
Round down.
Are we wrong or is the
It
computer
rounded
wrong?
down.
It rounds down.
Yeah.
Okay, so our // function always rounds down. So it rounds down to the nearest integer.
Yeah.
Or we also call this integer division. So it always rounds down to the nearest integer. I want us to remember this important function. When we did 23%(4), what answer did we get? 3. What do we believe the percentage operator does? Percent of?
Like, if you check
20?
before,
23% of 4 is 3? 23% of 4.
No,
So 23% of 4 is something about 1 point something, I believe.
Yeah.
About 1%.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's not percentage of. Any other answers? What do you think the percentage sign does? 4%
4% of 24.
of 24? 4% of 24 might be 10% is what? 2? So 5. It's about, yeah, that's about 1 point something also. So it's not 4% of 23. So any other ideas?
And I just remember over.
Oh, continue.
I can't really explain, but it checks if the number you put after the percentage sign, how many times you can go into the number, or the remainder gets only divided.
Okay, so keyword you just said there, the remainder.
Oh, right.
So what we got here was we divided 23 by 4. We got 5, remainder 3. And then our output was 3. So this returns the value of the remainder when we divide this number. So if we try putting 55%(8), tell me what answer did you get?
55.
Yeah.
What?
55 remainder.
7.
7. So when we divided 55 by 8, we got 7, remainder 7. So our output was 7. So this percentage sign represents the modulus function. And our modulus function returns the remainder of when we divide by the remainder of a number when we divide by another number. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Everybody? I want everybody to keep this modulus function in mind. It might be useful when we have some problems. Just might be. Okay, so let's go through that again. The double asterisk star is the exponent function in Python. It means to the power of. So 5 star 2 means 5 to the power of 2, hence the answer was 25. You might be wondering why did 20/4 give an answer of 5.0 instead of 5. The reason is that in Python, when a division is calculated, the answer is automatically given in the form of a float. The double forward slash function is integer division. It is like regular division but gives a rounded down answer instead of the exact answer. So 21/4/4 gives an answer of 5 rather than 5.25. The percentage sign is known as the modulo operator or modulus. It is used to find the remainder when the remainder of division. So 23 divided by 4 is 5 with a remainder of 3. So we outputted 3. So then we outputted 3 as our answer. Does anybody have notebooks? I want you to take down the summary of our operations, addition, subtraction. But mostly, these are the important ones that we need to remember. Integer division, exponent, and modulo. While you're doing that, I will try to set up my
Yes.
No internet. No internet? Do you
Julian,
have-
next
do you
hours?
have-
8 hours?
you receive the things.
Wait, you think ready? Oh, you're like, give me my pen. I don't know. Half a pen. That's a pencil. Mine have a pen and a pencil. You're special. My pencil not sharpener. I don't have a sharpener. You have a pen?
You have a pen.
Oh, today we like it.
Husband, yeah, shoe.
Somebody doesn't have a pen in the folder?
No. Say them again. Gail? Gail? Gail, you have a partner. Introduce yourself. Everybody was able to take that down?
Not yet.
If I remove this other screen, do you think you remember?
Maybe. Yeah. Most likely. Just give me the list.
I don't trust you, I'll leave it for now.
Wow. They trust me. Alright. I used to love the pen.
It's purpose to use it, right?
We're gonna have to write the gas and what?
I can understand my hand.
I can't
What's your name
understand.
again?
Julian.
Julian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you're not writing.
Oh, well.
You don't need to remember this.
Yeah, I didn't. But you don't look cocky, girl. Right? Look cocky.
Julian, I just pretend to struggle, mama. Cannot put him on the bottom to get everything. Bad vibes. Bad energy.
Okay, anybody that's didn't have time to write it down? Ask Julian because he remembers.
But in words.
Huh?
Project
Yeah, words.
division.
Okay, so an arithmetic calculation can have several operations and parentheses and can be used, and we could calculate these complex calculations inside of our Python shell also. But Python uses PEDMAS or the board mass order of operations. Everybody that did math at school, right?
Well, still doing that. Still
Okay, so can anybody, I want one person to tell me what does PEDMAS stand for and
I
one
never
person
had pet master.
that tells me what does board mass stand for.
Brackets,
Bracket,
over,
division,
multiplication,
addition and subtraction.
Okay? Anybody wants to try what's PEDMAS? It's the exact same thing.
Parentheses.
Parentheses.
parentheses,
Exponents.
division, multiplication, addition, subtraction.
Okay, so we said parentheses, exponents, division, and map. I want you to make one correction to your board mass definition. Brackets, orders, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. The O doesn't stand for of. I know they usually teach that. The O stands for orders, which stands for exponents.
Bracket, order.
Yeah.
Bracket, order, that's kind of way.
Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this function, this arithmetic equation. We have minus 2 plus 3.0 minus 4.1 star 2 forward slash 6 star star 2. So what operation are we going to do first? The brackets. So minus 3 minus 4.1 is 7.1.
Yeah.
Can anybody confirm?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is 7.1. What's our next operation?
Multiplication.
Multiplication? Wrong.
Power.
The power of.
Double power.
Remember when I said brackets, orders, not of? Order. So 6 star star 2 is what? 36?
The power of 2 is 36.
Okay, so what's our next operation?